All right, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from StreetScores, fresh in straight from yard work. I'll take a shower after the video because I already knew I would end up taking a nap if I take a shower, and this video wouldn't get done until late tonight. But either way, we're here to talk about several things, man. We have a lot to cover. First of all, we're going to talk about Noah Brown looking healthy. Like, not only is he walking around like I showed y'all days ago, he's actually like running around and cutting and changing direction and running routes, all kinds of stuff. I'm going to show y'all those clips and everything. And then also we got to talk about how we finally signed our second round rookie corner, Trenavian Amos. We got to dive into all of that and how the high expectations I have for this cornerback room and why I feel like it's probably going to be the best cornerback room in the division. And then the majority of this video is going to be spent on all of this Terry McLaurin chaos from yesterday, from the team not posting his wedding photos. We got to dive into all of that, of course. And then today, Jeremy Fowler giving some updates as far as Terry McLaurin potentially being traded, the amount that Terry McLaurin was probably offered and why he hasn't signed yet. And then I also want to update y'all on Zach Ertz predicting another rookie, just like how he predicted Jaylen Lane to be a star before we even got to week 1 of the regular season. He's talking about another Commanders current rookie this 2025 draft class. He picked one person that stood out to him that, hey, this might be the next one. Of course, he's not a quarterback like Jayden Daniels. We didn't draft a quarterback in this draft, but there's a rookie that stood out to Zach Ertz, and hey, he's 1 for 1. Let's see if he goes 2 for 2. We're gonna dive into all that and more, but before we do, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Stay tuned, follow the content. I'm gonna have y'all update on a lot of different things. Like, I have some Debo Samuel content I want to get to, maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow. I want to update y'all on Von Miller's contract, all kinds of stuff. So man, so stay tuned. Let's go and dive into this video right now. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so first up, again, we're going to talk about Noah Brown, then Trenavian Amos, then Terry McLaurin, and then the rookie that Zach Ertz is, starting to see some similarities to how Jayden Daniels broke onto the scene. He has another rookie that he has his eyes on this year. But starting with Noah Brown, as you can see on the screen right now, look at this man. That boy is moving. Injury what? You know what I'm saying? We were fearing that he possibly even tore an ACL. Injury what, man? You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily like the smoothest, most crisp Devontae Adams in his prime, Jerry Rice level of movement or route running right now, but he doesn't look far off. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we come to training camp and, again, the veterans report the 22nd. They'll probably start practicing by the next day, like the 23rd or something like that. Wouldn't be surprised if he misses a couple of practices or if he's limited or something like that, but he's way better than I thought he would be. Even after the videos that I showed y'all last week with him walking around, he looks better than I even expected after seeing those, man. He looks good. And remember, all the way back in like mandatory minicamp, I mean, he suffered an injury. I mean, again, none of us really saw it. Only the reporters that were there that weren't allowed to record practice at the time. They were the only people that saw it. Of course, Commanders players, coaches, front office members, but really nobody outside of the Commanders soul and group were able to see the injury. But everything that we heard from all of the reporters that were there that told us about it, it didn't look good. I mean, he had to be like carted off of the field. He had to be helped off the field, then carted from the side of the field to the locker room or the medical staff, wherever he had to go. And before then, he slammed his helmet. And you already know that slamming of the helmet by a player sounds like, yeah, I'm done for season. Typically, when a player slams his own helmet after suffering an injury, they're pretty much cooked. So we were already like, man, I mean, he already had the lacerated kidney or something like that. He had some crazy last year injury that finished his season last year for like the last few weeks, and he didn't play at all in the playoff run. And then it was like, okay, we re-signed Noah Brown. He's getting back healthy. We're ready to go. And then that injury hit. I was so sick. First of all, I mean, he matters so much to our receiver room. But then it was also kind of like, man, as soon as he gets healthy to get hurt, like bad, for real, I mean, I just felt bad for him first and foremost. But it's really good that it looks like he's good to go. Remember back in like June 18th, 19th, somewhere around there, John Com of ESPN even updated us and basically said that his injury doesn't seem too serious from everything that he's heard and seen and stuff like that, which is of course a great outcome for us, man. Remember Brown? We signed him to a 1-year deal to stay with the team this offseason despite missing the entire postseason run with a significant internal issue that needed kidney surgery to resolve. And shouts out to him because, it sounds like with this injury, it was about time that something finally went his way, luck-wise, man. The physically imposing pass catcher is expected to play an important role once again in 2025. He's really the only receiver with some serious height out of, like, all of the guys that we're assuming will make the roster. We'll see if Michael Gallup can make the team. He has some height to him as well. Everybody else is, like, 6 foot flat or shorter. Remember, we added Deebo Samuel. We traded for him. Again, Michael Gallup bringing him up. We signed him. I'm not even like super sure that he's like a lock to make the team like a lot of people feel like. We'll see. Then, of course, we drafted Jaylen Lane in the 4th round. That's like the most notable additions to our wide receiver room this offseason. But, of course, Noah Brown still has an important role. Even if all of those guys are healthy, reach their potential, Noah Brown still matters. He brings height that nobody else has. He brings a level of professional route running, nuanced receiver things that a lot of people don't have. This guy forced the most defensive pass interference in the NFL at a certain point last season. Before he got hurt, he was leading the NFL out of all wide receivers in defensive passes and interferences for us, man. And you can't necessarily depend on something like that, but he has to be doing something right to keep forcing those. So, any help that we can get in this receiver core, even assuming Terry McLaurin gets signed long term, assuming that Deebo Samuel balls out, assuming that Jaylen Lane outplays his 4th round pick selection, assuming Michael Gallup can get at least somewhat close to his 2019 self where he had 1,000 yards for the Dallas Cowboys, we still want Noah Brown here. Even if Luke McCaffrey steps up, takes a leap forward next year, this upcoming season based, in comparison to what he did last year, Noah Brown still will play a large role in this offense. And again, just to show you real quick, again, like a week ago, we saw him walking around very easily in his Instagram post about going back to his hometown in Jersey, and it's just really nice to see him even beyond just walking around and looking comfortable. I was already assuming, okay, he looks pretty good from that. Then you're seeing the movement that he was doing in the clip I showed y'all earlier. That was a more recent video that came out, I believe, yesterday or last night or something like that, so it's great to see. Now, moving on, the Commanders have finally agreed to terms with 2nd-round pick Tre'Nayvion Amos on his rookie deal, and the reason that this is crazy right now is because the majority of 2nd-round picks in the NFL have not been signed yet. Now, granted, there has been some sort of a domino effect where it seems like once one more guy signed, it's been like back to back to back kinda, and Tre'Nayvion Amos is one of those guys that is like, okay, this guy signed, now I can sign. You can tell that they have some sort of like a group chat going on. They're definitely colluding, and all of the 2nd-round picks are trying to get it to the point that they get a lot of guaranteed money similar to what 1st-round picks get. They're trying to step up and be like, hey, as long as none of us sign, if you don't sign, I won't sign, and we're going to force the NFL and these teams to give us more guaranteed money in these rookie deals. Well, I don't know. Maybe we've gotten to the point that we've reached the percentages or numbers that they were looking for, and at the very least, hey, forget what other 2nd-round picks are doing to other teams. We got our guy signed. That's all that matters to me. Our guy is handled, signed, we're good to go, man. And so now this officially makes it to where the Commanders have signed all of our draft picks: Josh Connolly, Tre'Nayvion Amos, Jaylen Lane, Kane Madrano, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. That's crazy. We don't have a lot of draft picks, man. Just 5 of them. But now we finally have them all signed. Now, of course, everybody saw that update and was like, well, now let's go figure out how we're going to sign Terry. You went and got Von Miller. You finally signed your 2nd-round pick that was an issue all offseason. We were questioning it for a while, for weeks now, maybe over a month. We were like, wait, why is Tre'Nayvion Amos still not signed? All of the other rookies have been signed since over a month ago. So we finally, got over a few hurdles. We finally got a pass rusher that we've been asking for since the draft, really since free agency. You finally got Tre'Nayvion Amos signed since we drafted him late April. And now the last major obstacle is to go ahead and get Terry McLaurin done. And shouts out to Josh Taylor of A to Z Sports. Congratulations to him, too. Shouts out to him for getting that opportunity with A to Z Sports. He just pulled up, and he's already knocking out a lot of articles. He brought up a lot of great points as far as Tre'Nayvion Amos signing. He said the Commanders already have question marks around whether or not star wide receiver Terry McLaurin will even report to training camp on July 22nd, and they just didn't need a rookie joining the club as far as we're not sure what's going on, or is he even going to pull up to practice and things like that. Now you know Tre'Davion Amos is going to be there day one for rookie minicamp. He made sure. I mean, the rookies reported yesterday. He was like, all right, I'll go ahead and sign yesterday. The Los Angeles Chargers rookie wideout was the first second-round pick to hold out, but that was resolved not long after Amos agreed to his deal. So, you know, that was kind of like the domino effect. Tre'Davion Amos was one of the first second-round picks to sign. He wasn't the first. I don't even think he's one of the first 5, but he's part of that group where, like, he's earlier than a lot of these other ones that are still not signed for other teams right now. Training camp is vital. And where the team really lays the groundwork for the season, learning schemes, building chemistry, all of that type of stuff. And a rookie who is expected to start at a position needs all of the reps possible to learn his role and build a connection with the team, and Amos will be present to now do so. And I really want to remind y'all, I say it all of the time, quarterback is probably the only position group in the entire NFL that has a harder transition going from college to the NFL. And you may be even able to argue with the way that entire teams are built around quarterbacks usually, that honestly, it's harder to go from as a corner, go from college to the NFL and have instant success as a rookie, even more so than it is for a quarterback. It's between those two, big gap, everybody else, however you want to rank them. And so the more snaps and reps that Tre'Davion Amos can get as early on as possible, the way better. And the fact that we were already hearing good things from voluntary OTAs and mandatory minicamps of him making great plays, it just continues to go. And Marshawn Lattimore even said, hey, this guy's further ahead than rookies usually are as corners, man. And he basically, I think he gave like a prediction that Tre'Davion Amos is going to be one of them ones already by like week 6 or week 8, which is phenomenal as a rookie corner. Also finishing up what Josh Taylor said, Amos participated and flashed in early phases of the offseason with rookie, mandatory minicamp, and OTAs, and now it's time to put the pads on and get back to work for training camp. And again, thank goodness he'll be there for day one. And you're already seeing this clip going around right now of him already working on some individual stuff by himself. I mean, his footwork and agility looks phenomenal. Even his hands at the end to make that catch, that looked like a wide receiver catching that. I mean, he didn't bobble it. He attacked the ball with his hands, which even some receivers don't do. I love Terry, but he's a body catcher. He catches the ball with his chest a lot of the time. So shouts out to Tre'Davion with the hands. I'm looking forward to a lot of interceptions this season and throughout his entire career. And I think that with who I think he'll be, plus with how I think Lattimore is going to bounce back now that he's finally had a fully healthy off season and he's finally fully healthy himself. No more hamstring issues, no more forcing himself to play to try to validate Adam Peters and those guys trading for him. He said it himself way back just a few weeks ago after one of the practices. I think it was like mandatory minicamp after like an interview after that or something like that. He admitted like, man, I was super hurt. I had no business plan, but I just wanted to prove everybody that Adam Peters and Dan Quinn made the right decision by taking a chance on me type of stuff. Now he's 100% healthy. So between Tre'Davion being who I think he'll be, Marshawn Lattimore bouncing back the way that I think he will, I think that this Commanders cornerback group may be the best, at least in this division. I mean, I have some worries about the safety group, so that's why I'm not saying we'll potentially have the best secondary, but the cornerback starters in depth, I love what I'm seeing, man. I'm loving the potential right here, man. I mean, because just outside corner-wise, you have Marshawn Lattimore and Tre'Davion Amos who will start. You have Jonathan Jones, who started for the Patriots last year and was pretty solid. He's a backup now. We had Noah Igbinoghene as a starter for us last year. He was our starting outside corner for a second, for like a couple of weeks. Then when Mike Sanford took over out there, then Noah Igbinoghene moved to our starting slot corner, and he was solid. According to a lot of advanced stats and charts that I showed y'all throughout the season, he was like a top 5, at worst top 10 slot corner in the NFL. Now he's a super backup. And you have Mike Sanford, who's only going to get better as your starting slot corner, going from outside corner back to his more natural position where he has a higher ceiling. I think he'll be an all-pro potential player there. This cornerback group is insane. The starters alone, Lattimore, getting closer back to what he used to look like in his prime, going back to his number that he had for Ohio State. Again, I can only say, so I can go on forever about Trey Amos. I'm telling y'all right now, he's going to be a dog at outside corner, and then Sanford still in the slot, and then again, just the depth alone even after that as well. Noah Igbinoghene, Jonathan Jones, man, I really am a big fan of what we have going on in this cornerback room. I even like some of these, like, younger undrafted free agent type of guys. Like I'm excited about Fentrell Cypress and Carlton Vickers. We were hearing pretty good things about them so far in off-season workouts. So I'm really loving what we have going on in this cornerback room. Again, the safety room concerns me a little bit, but this cornerback room is going to be crazy. Now moving on to where most of y'all people probably clicked on this video for, Terry McLaurin. And you already seeing him being petty back, which is the part that scares me, because Terry McLaurin clearly took this situation to heart. We're going to get there later, though. We got to build up to that. So yesterday, starting with everything, first of all, there was this report that an AFC team is apparently lurking in the shadows as the Commanders continue to drag their feet with this whole Terry McLaurin extension situation. There's an AFC team out there looking like, hey, y'all keep playing, we're going to try to trade for this guy. So apparently the New England Patriots, and I'm already seeing jersey swaps. I'm not even going to disrespect y'all as the viewers to even show y'all those Terry McLaurin Patriots uniform jersey swaps. We're not even going to do that here. But it was being reported by Albert Breer that the Patriots are believed to be very interested in acquiring wide receiver Terry McLaurin if he would have become available. I'm assuming most teams in the NFL would be interested if Terry McLaurin were available. But the fact that he pointed out like and isolated the Patriots themselves sounds like there may be some real serious interest there, even more than other NFL teams. Of course, McLaurin is in the midst of a well-documented contract dispute with the Washington Commanders, and both sides have had very little communication. Hopefully some of that is ramped up since he had that interview with Eastern Motors. We'll see. And then shouts out to Rigo's rag Dean Jones. He wrote, the Patriots would be very interested in Terry McLaurin if a trade for the Commanders became receptive. Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated acknowledged that McLaurin getting extended remains the most likely scenario, so let's get that out the way. If not, he's thought that the New England Patriots would be extremely interested in acquiring the two-time Pro Bowler as a legitimate number one option for the second-year quarterback Drake May. His exact quote via NBC Boston, quote, there hasn't been much more progress because there hasn't been much talk between the sides. And I think that's why Terry McLaurin felt compelled to say what he said publicly. I think the Patriots will be very interested in this. There's a price point for all of it. And what would that mean? Obviously, he's not going to come here with an unresolved contract situation. So you'd be talking about a draft pick plus a contract. He's a little older than people realize because he was a 5-year college guy. He'll be 30 in September. Certainly, as far as what they're looking for from a person, player, helping Drake May, etc., this guy checks every box, unquote, from Albert Breer. And again, going back to Dean Jones, he said trading Terry McLaurin is not an option. I agree. The Commanders finally have some positive momentum after decades of dismay, my whole lifetime. Peters shouldn't even contemplate parting ways with quarterback Jaylen Daniels' most productive weapon in the passing game. Imagine the message that was sent to the locker room and fans is absolutely out of the question. I completely agree. I mean, I've said this already in a previous video that, I mean, imagine what not only players on the Commanders are thinking looking at this situation. Imagine what, players, agents on other teams are looking at the situation and thinking like, I mean, if Terry McLaurin is that pure and nearly perfect on and off the field, and I'm not, and they're treating him like this, imagine what they would do to me. So Adam Peters, you at the very least got to get this done. First of all, Terry McLaurin is a great player. He deserves it. But at the very least, you got to get this done for the message that it'll send to everybody else around the league and other players that may potentially think about joining the Commanders. Now, shouts out to JP Finley. He brings up a good point. He said, yes, Albert Breer said the Patriots would be very interested in trading for Terry McLaurin, but a lot of teams would be. But Breer also said he thinks that the talks will ramp up with Terry in Washington because, quote, it makes too much sense, unquote. So that's another quote that came from Albert Breer. Make sure y'all go check out the entire video and every quote that he said, because yes, I mean, the Patriots will be interested. He threw that in there, but he also said that it just makes too much sense and it's more likely for Terry McLaurin to end up signing a contract extension with the Commanders. So really don't worry about it. And then shouts out to Jayden Daniels, because I agree. He said, I think most teams will be very interested in trading for Terry McLaurin if he were actually available, like I said earlier. And then shouts out to my boy Disco. He brings up a good point. He said, interesting, Terry McLaurin and Jeremy Chinn have the same agent. In looking at Terry's agent-client list, McLaurin is by far his biggest client, so he's probably trying to milk Terry McLaurin to get as much money as possible because Terry McLaurin is his biggest client, and you saw what happened with Jeremy Chinn leaving. We wanted to re-sign him, but we didn't offer him as much money as he wanted. He left. Hopefully, the Commanders don't make the same mistake with Terry McLaurin, but it's the same agent. That is a great point from Disco right there. But then later on yesterday, which really started up some drama, and again, I'm not really worried about the drama itself. We're going to get to that. But it's the fact that Terry McLaurin noticed it and even liked the post under it, talking about how absolutely disrespectful this post was. Well, the Commanders' official account released a post that featured players getting married this offseason, but notably left out wide receiver Terry McLaurin's marriage. Out of all of the pictures, man, you see all these different Commanders players and their marriage photos, and then no Terry, which is crazy. But at the same time, back when Terry McLaurin got married back on February 24th, they posted the photo of him getting married to his wife. It says introducing the McLaurins and everything. The Commanders posted that by itself with nobody else, just McLaurin and his wife, and that's it, giving them full attention and congratulations. So I don't feel like it was not, particularly necessary for them to also include him in this one. But again, it just scares me that Terry McLaurin saw that under the Commanders post of them posting all of the other people's marriages, and it didn't include his. Somebody commented absolutely disrespectful, and Terry McLaurin liked that comment. So that definitely does scare me as well. But moving on, I agree with Steve at Air Raid Concepts, man. He said they posted a pic of Terry and his wife, and everyone made fun of her and his hairline. Now everyone is mad that they won't post a picture of Terry and his wife because of basically the context that we're in right now. The situation is a contract dispute, even though Terry McLaurin wasn't any closer to getting a contract done back in February when they posted him. But of course, the timing is ugly. But shouts out to my dog, Rio Robinson. He said, man, people are mad at social media interns for not posting about a wedding for a second time this offseason. He said, go outside. I mean, and that's a really good point. Shouts out to at J Daniels MVP. He said, while I still believe Terry is going to get paid, it is strange that he's liking posts on here and they aren't even tagging him. Specifically posted from fans voicing their opinions regarding the state of his contract extension talks. So it is a little ugly. Like, Terry McLaurin's clearly looking at this stuff because the Commanders didn't, of course, at him when they posted all of these other wedding pictures and didn't include him. It's not like this was literally brought to Terry's attention by the Commanders themselves. It's Terry looking for this stuff. But my thing is, me personally, you have to realize that the fans are going to blow this up way beyond what it actually is. And even though the fans that are overreacting are the main ones wrong in this situation, the Commanders social media team, man, you need to have better awareness than that. And you need to have the ability to read the room. You should just think about the fact that Terry is in a serious contract dispute right now, and things have heated up as of late, especially after them having that Eastern Motors interview, and just said that he's frustrated with the team. And now it looks like the Commanders did this on purpose to some people, of course. It looks petty on their part, and it doesn't help when Terry is seeing this and fans are adding Terry and bringing it to his attention to make things worse, and then Terry is liking these posts. But again, my final thought is that the team is not required to post Terry every chance that they get. It's nowhere near that serious, but at the same time, y'all gotta read the room from now on just a little bit better, man, just a little bit better. And now, granted, that was all of yesterday's drama. Then today, we got more updates. Then, again, a lot of that started yesterday was Albert Breer and the Commanders social media team, and Terry McLaurin replying to that, liking posts about it being disrespectful, all of that type of stuff. Then today was Jeremy Fowler. He hinted that Washington isn't near $30 million a year as far as the money that they're offering for Terry McLaurin. Quote, my sense is they aren't even close to that. They have a big gap they have to fill, unquote, which means it sounds like they're trying to lowball them and they're offering them something less than $30 million, probably in the 28, 27s right now. And I feel like less than $30 million is pretty crazy, man. Because then at that point, that means you probably view him as a wide receiver too, I guess, making barely any more than wide receiver two himself, T. Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals. And everybody else below that will probably be getting paid way more expensive contracts in the near future. So if you pay Terry McLaurin less than $30 million a year right now, he'll probably fall all the way back down to 15th highest paid wide receiver again in 2 years or less. A lot of those guys below him are gonna be up for new contracts and sign way bigger ones very soon. So I feel like that's a severe low ball right there. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty crazy. I know Terry's gonna be 30 very early this season, and most of these top receivers got their new contracts when they were around 25 years old. I get that. But at the same time, man, Terry hasn't shown any slowing down to me. If anything, he started to get faster as the season went on. Think Cowboys first game, at the end of the game, whatever he did on that, I don't even know what that was. That wasn't even a Hail Mary. That was just throwing the ball to Terry and making him create something, and he did. And then also think the Detroit Lions playoff game on that screen pass. And also, He barely played at Ohio State, especially his first few years there, and then he entered the league at like 24 years old. People near 30 years old, you know, they hear that and think that his body has the mileage of a guy going into like his 10th season or something in the NFL. But this is about to be his 7th. And even crazier is that his game isn't fully dependent on his speed and athleticism. He's statistically the best contested catch receiver in the NFL by several metrics. And then he's also a really good route runner. Both of those traits will age like fine wine. So I believe he could easily give you 3 to 5 more second team all-pro level seasons like he just gave you in 2024, where he broke franchise records. I think he could easily replicate that for the next 3 to 5 years. I think he definitely has that left in the tank. And then also Jeremy Fowler gave another update though, and this one's a little bit more optimistic for the Commanders side. He said that the Commanders are not trading Terry McLaurin. Quote, cooler heads should prevail. They want Terry McLaurin there, as in Washington. They're not trading McLaurin. That was made clear to me from a source close with the team, and that was an update as of early this morning, not yesterday, this morning, coming from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. Now, this may sound obvious to most of us, but this should put a lot of people's minds at ease about the possibility of us trading away Terry McLaurin. It's reassuring to hear that even though they are lowballing Terry, the main priority, first and foremost, is still to sign Terry long term. And from the way things sound right now with Jeremy Fowler and a couple of other reporters out there, it sounds like the Commanders are more likely to up the amount that they're offering him and go over that $30 million that he's potentially asking for, which Terry clearly wants. And by the way, I mean, like he was talking about in that Easter Motors interview, feeling disrespected and not valued. And I also agree. I feel like he deserves that much. But now, granted, I don't feel like he needs to get all the way up to $35 million or something like that, but I think somewhere around $32 million makes a lot of sense, and he deserves it. And we have plenty of cap space, even after signing Von Miller. But again, it sounds like, back to my main point, if there's anything that's going to give way between the two sides, it would be the lowball offer that would change sooner than us potentially even considering trading away Terry McLaurin. So now we just have to hope that they sign him long term before the veterans report to training camp, which is July 22nd. So yes, that's just 3 days away, and then they technically start practicing probably the day after that, 4 days away, July 23rd. Hopefully we can get it done before then. Hopefully Terry McLaurin doesn't have to miss any practices, because of course that's just going to stir up more drama. Of course, me reporting on that and doing videos on it will be good for the channel, but I just, as a fan, man, I just want Terry McLaurin signed, man. I don't care about none of that. I don't even want to keep talking about this. Can we just get this signed so I don't even have to discuss Terry McLaurin's contract anymore? Please get it done. But again, it's reassuring. It does take a little bit of weight off my shoulders as a fan that it sounds like we're more likely to up the offer that we're giving them right now, the money that we're willing to give them in a new contract, than we are to trade them. I mean, it sounds fairly obvious, but it's still really good to hear. And then lastly, before we get up out of here, Zach Ertz said that one player that really stood out to him this offseason has been Jaylen Lane. And he seems very excited about the potential that he's going to bring to the Commanders as a rookie. And shouts out to Marshall for pointing out the fact that Ertz is batting 1.0 predicting rookie success, because he was one of the first people on Jayden Daniels to ever say that Jayden Daniels was going to be a star. He said that well before week 1. He said that, I think, even before training camp, that, hey, this Jayden Daniels kid, watch out. So Zach Ertz, when he's predicting a rookie to ball out, I mean, granted, you know, 1 of 1 is a small sample size, but I mean, that was a big for Jayden Daniels to go out there and have the best rookie season in NFL history. And Zach Ertz called it before Jayden Daniels ever even stepped onto an NFL field. I think he deserves a little bit of credit and a little bit of the benefit of the doubt when he's talking about another rookie now, Jaylen Lane, the 4th round pick wide receiver, which is of course music to my ears, because first of all, number one, if Jaylen Lane ends up being a steal in the 4th round, we're cooking with fish grease. I mean, that's your best returner. He's your only deep threat outside of Terry McLaurin, and maybe he's even your starting slot receiver. So if that guy surpasses 4th round expectations immediately as a rookie, this offense is going to be literally unstoppable. And then also, two, I haven't really heard any good news about Jaylen Lane all offseason. Even just receiver room wise, we've heard great things and even seen great things from clips from several other guys, most notably like Luke McCaffrey and stuff like that. But I don't really remember hearing anything about Jaylen Lane this offseason. So to hear it from not only a player on the team, but also a veteran player that knows what he's talking about, and specifically the guy that put his name on the line saying that Jayden Daniels will be a star before he ever even stepped foot on the NFL field. I'm telling you right now, go and get some Jaylen Lane stocks before they skyrocket, because it's going to get out of control. If Zach Ertz is just as right as he was about Jayden Daniels, Jaylen Lane's about to go to a Pro Bowl. He may be up for Offensive Rookie of the Year as a wide receiver, but I'm telling you again, he's your best returner. I feel like that's his floor. I feel like he's going to be a really good returner for us, punt returner, and one of our starting kick returners. I feel like he has the chance to be a really good slot, but if Zach Ertz is talking about him like this, he's probably your starting slot. It's probably a mix of Terry, Debo, Noah Brown, and Jaylen Lane is your 4 receivers that rotate in and out depending on what's going on. And then I guess Luke McCaffrey, if Michael Gallup makes a team, we'll see what the other mix is. But that sounds like there's like a tier of those guys and then everybody else. And then, most importantly, he's our only deep threat outside of Terry McLaurin right now. When other teams are focusing on stopping Terry McLaurin from taking the lids off of the defense, that'll open things up for Jaylen Lane. And then when teams finally learn their lesson with that, they'll focus on Jaylen Lane. Now Terry can eat on the other side. So, hey, man, Zach Ertz, I hope you're right again, because if you are, this team is about to score literally like 40 points a game. If Jaylen Lane is different like that, if Jaylen Lane plays up to like a first-round caliber talent immediately as a rookie, we are going to take off. We're scoring 40 points a game going all the way to a Super Bowl. It's that serious. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you feel about everything discussed in the video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. I really appreciate y'all for supporting the video. If you made it this far in the video, man, salute to you for real, for real. Make sure you leave a like on the way out. I really appreciate y'all. And of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about everything, man. How do you feel about Noah Brown looking healthy? Do you think he'll be ready to immediately start practicing as soon as we start, probably as soon as the 23rd, just in 4 days? How do you feel about, you know, the whole Trey Amos finally getting signed situation? Do you agree that we may potentially have the best cornerback group, the best starting 3 at the very least out of the entire division? How do you feel about the whole Terry McLaurin situation with the Commanders not posting him as part of the wedding photo compilation? How do you feel about the potential of the Commanders trading them, lowballing them, and not even offering them $30 million? How do you feel about that? Because that one is probably the most surprising out of everything that we've talked about in this video to me. And then also, of course, how do you feel about Jaylen Lane potentially being the wide receiver version of Jayden Daniels this season just because Zach Ertz said so? Let me know how you feel about all of that. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my points. Make sure you leave a like on the way out. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to catch y'all later. I'm out.